Over IRS notice CP48. So you might receive a copy of this notice if the IRS is telling you that you need to renew your individual taxpayer identification number, or ITIN, to file your tax return. So what we'll do is we'll go over this notice. We'll talk about some of the things that how this may impact you, and then we'll talk about what you can do about it. So in the upper right hand corner, you'll notice the notice date, or the notice type, CP48, and the notice date. So I always recommend that people take note of the notice date so that if there's an action item, you know whether or not it's tied to your notice date. Sometimes it is. So in this case, it looks like there's a separate expiration date that applies to this ITIN. But in a lot of videos, it'll be make this payment by within 21 days of the notice date, or please respond within such a period of time, 30 or 60 days from the notice date. So just generally speaking, it's a good idea to keep that in mind. Over here on the left-hand side is the taxpayer name and street address. So if you've recently moved, you should consider updating your address either by filing IRS Form 8822 or IRS Form 8822-B if you're a business owner. We'll put links in the show notes to resources we've created on those forms in the footnotes. But you can also call the IRS, go through the phone tree, and change your address over the phone, or you can do it when you're filing your tax return. So if you're in between tax seasons, usually filing the 8822 form would be the appropriate way to go about it. So basically this says that the ITIN for you or someone listed on your tax return is going to expire on 1 January. So unless you take action, you won't be able to use the ITIN to file your tax returns. Then it talks about who needs to renew the ITIN. Basically, anyone in this example, anyone with middle numbers 8384, 8586, or 87. So that's basically it. So you would kind of look at the guidance within the letter to determine who in your family needs to renew their ITIN. And you would do that by filing Form W7. Of course, if you are eligible for a Social Security number, then at this time, then the IRS would rather you apply for your Social Security number on Form SS5, I believe. So, so here is a list of who would not need to renew their ITIN. So first, if you're not using it on a tax return, if it's only third parties that are using the ITIN on information returns. So if you use that ITIN to file the tax return, you would need to renew it. But if you're just getting a 1099 from someone, then and you don't have to file a tax return, then you don't need to renew it. If you became a citizen or you're about to, you would use your Social Security number. Or if the owner is your spouse or dependent residing outside the United States. So you would not claim that person as a personal exemption, at least until after 2025, if the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act sunsets and we're allowed to claim personal exemptions again. So to renew your ITIN, you file IRS Form W7. We'll put links in the show notes to resources we've created about Form W7 as well. You don't need to attach a tax return as long as you submit the application before you're ready to file. So you would need to send your identification documents. The IRS says that they'll return them within 60 days. So file early to avoid any delays in your processing. And then there's some notes about some resources that might be available to you. The Taxpayer Advocate Service. There's a tax form. I'll put a link in the show notes. IRS Form 911 if you're interested in learning more about the Taxpayer Advocate. So unfortunately, there's not a page for CP48. I'm just going to take a look to double check. there's no page here. So sometimes that happens when there's a dated CP notice. So you might receive this notice and with a link to go to the IRS website, and it won't be there. So we will put links in the show notes to resources we've created about the forms mentioned here. So if you like our articles, please subscribe to our newsletter. If you like our YouTube videos, please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel. And as always, if you have any questions or comments, or if there's another topic that you'd like to see covered in an upcoming video, please hit me up in the comments section. Thank you very much and have a great day.